Hey guys, it's the Insane Machine Cody Hawkins, and you're watching WGS-TV.
You have warped your way into another episode of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer. I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B, Willie Woodrow. I'm all by my lonesome here on this week's Monday Night Raw review for the week of February 16, 2015. For those of you who don't know, as of this date of the record of the Monday Night Raw review, it is Mardi Gras and it's Mardi Gras season. I'd like to wish everyone out there to have a happy and safe Mardi Gras, especially if you go out to New Orleans, Louisiana, for all the parades and all the festivities. One thing I definitely want to preach to the people who do go out there: if you want to go have fun, please have fun, but also be safe. I have seen a lot of episodes of Cops during the Mardi Gras season where people tend to go a little cuckoo in the cabeza, if you know what I mean. But I just want to wish everyone, like I said, out there to have a happy and safe Mardi Gras. If you're going out to New Orleans, or anywhere for that matter, and want to celebrate Mardi Gras. Anyway, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. The go-home show to Fastlane on Monday Night Raw. We would open up with John Cena coming out to respond to what Rusev had to say. It was basically the big final build into the angle between John Cena and Rusev. Now, it would have John Cena kind of turn the tables on Rusev last night by attacking him, and the brutality and in the manner of the way they had John Cena attack Rusev really reminded me of Thugonomics John Cena. That side of John Cena, a lot of the good majority of wrestling fans out there have been wanting to see back for a long time in WWE. The Thugonomics style of John Cena, the gimmick that really got him noticed. And it was very reminiscent of that. Now, when it pertains to traditional wrestling logic, and sometimes WWE kind of follows suit, but then again, sometimes we see them flip the script. But 9 times out of 10, traditional wrestling logic dictates that whenever the challenger for a title match goes over on the go-home show, then 9 times out of 10 he will not go over on the pay-per-view. But then again, that is just traditional wrestling logic. WWE has been known to technically flip the script. I mean, look what happened in NXT with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Prime example right there. But I gotta say, decent opening to for Monday Night Raw when it pertains to John Cena and Rusev. I love the Dean Ambrose little backstage news segment. I mean, whatever they give Dean Ambrose, he can just really pull off brilliantly, you know, and make it entertaining, make it funny. And, you know, that's one of the things I like about the guy. I mean, he's just really adaptable in any style they give him. They could give him the first style they gave him the Shield gimmick to kind of be dark and brutal and stuff like that. And now they had him slowly adapt and change his gimmick into what he's doing now as the lunatic fringe Dean Ambrose. And I just love it. And I just love it. That's one of the reasons why the guy is where he's at, because he's good at it. And that's one of the things I really enjoy. And he put on a very decent match with Luke Harper. Luke Harper, again, another one of the shining stars in the WWE. And I just hope it doesn't go into one of those diamond in the rough scenarios for Luke Harper, because ever since they broke him away from the Wyatt family, you know, they did put the Intercontinental Championship on him, but sadly it was for a short period of time. And I think it was just basically to build into the Survivor Series storyline. But anyway, that's for another story for another time. I just really don't want to see him get deep push for any type of a reason, because he is an amazing talent. And I think he deserves to go a lot further. And so does Dean Ambrose and a whole number of stars in the WWE. But like I said, that's another story for another time. Ambrose would hit the dirty deeds on Luke Harper to get the win. Up next, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes had tweeted that he was going to appear on Monday Night Raw to try to settle things between him and his Gold and Stardust. And it appeared that way, but from my vantage point, I even said it on the blogs and Facebook last night, was this going to be the night where they officially do the official split of Gold and Stardust? And it did happen, and I figured they would want to do the split while Dusty was there, and it kind of makes sense, and it exactly happened. Now, what happened with Gold and Stardust taking on the New Day? Goldust had saw Kofi Kingston coming with the Trouble in Paradise, shoved Stardust out of the way, and took it, and Kofi pinned Goldust to pick up the win for the New Day, and Stardust saw that and picked up Stardust and appeared to be concerned for his brother, and then hits the Crossroads. And one thing that I was asked to mention, and I'm sorry if I forget who it was. I'm thinking it was a friend of mine by the name of Steven. I'm trying to remember. I do apologize if I forget. But he was kind of responding to what Stardust had to say to his father backstage when it pertains to what happened with him and Goldust. He said that Cody Rhodes was dead, and as far as he was concerned, his father was also dead to him as well. So if they wanted to pick any time to do the split for Gold and Stardust, they picked a really, really good time, and I think they can really go far with this now. It still remains to be seen as to how they'll play this out. You know, will they keep the Stardust gimmick on Cody Rhodes, or will they revert him back to the Cody Rhodes thing? I'm not sure. Like I said, only times will tell. Now, two big featured matches they had advertised for Monday Night Raw. One of them, rather, would be up next in the form of Roman Reigns taking on Kane, with Daniel Bryan on commentary. But again, it was kind of a mixture of a final build for Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. And now people were speculating whether or not Big Show would turn face on SmackDown, and I kind of said it on the review myself. I didn't feel that it was. I did not feel that it was a face turn, but and I guess I was sort of right in my when I said that. But anyway, to this matchup, the fans were chanting "You can't wrestle," and I'm still kind of puzzled as to who they were throwing that chant at. If they were throwing that chant at Kane, or if they were throwing that chant at Roman Reigns, because I know some fans out there have been recently on the case of Roman Reigns, and I know some fans out there have also been on Kane's case as well in the past. But anyway, guys and gals, it was a unique ending to the match in itself. Roman Reigns would spear Kane on the outside and beat the count back in, and Kane would ended up getting counted out, and then Daniel Bryan would just be standing on the announce table doing the whole yes thing. Now, the Bella Twins would end up stealing Paige's gear, and she was up for a match next. Now, I know it wouldn't be very PG of WWE to let her go out in just a towel. Although I have heard some speculations about WWE moving past the PG label. The Exotic Express, the Rosebuds, were out there. They were starting. Hey, if I was staying in front of Paige while she was wearing nothing but a towel, I would start dancing too. But she took one of the Rosebuds and was dressed like a fairy, and ended up putting that outfit on and ended up wrestling Summer Rae in that outfit. And Paige can make anything look hot. Hands down, Paige can make anything look hot. You know. That's really all I can say about that. And I will say this, though, to the crowd that was behind Paige when she locked on the PTO on Summer Rae to pick up the win. They got one hell of a view. That's all I'm saying. That's all I got to say about that. Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. Two of the main reasons why I still enjoy watching the main roster on the WWE, and on how talented these two guys really are. And again, I have really become a big Dolph Ziggler fan as of late. I've been very impressed with what he's done. And like I said, every match he does, he just takes what I like to call unnecessary bumps. You know, he just goes above and beyond the Call of Duty to, as at the same time, I'm also watching my little brothers playing Lego Star Wars right in front of me on their TV. Ziggler takes, like, unnecessary risks, but for the premise of this match, because I seem to be rambling a little bit on this review. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm by myself. But the premise on this match was basically, or let me summarize this match is what I meant to say. Ziggler would hit the zigzag on Seth Rollins. J&J Security, who were thrown out of the match by the referee, came back, attacked Seth Rollins, which would cause a disqualification, which then prompted Eric Rowan and Ryback to come out to make the save for Ziggler. And I do know that they have advertised a matchup, a rematch between Rollins and Ziggler for Thursday Night SmackDown. But the big stipulation on this one is the fact that J&J Security is barred from ringside. So we're going to have a really good chance on Thursday Night SmackDown to see two of WWE's shining stars do what they do best on the main roster. And that's really putting on good matches. Triple H, now when it pertains to the Triple H Sting storyline, I thought it was a brilliant move, in my opinion, to include Ric Flair in the storyline. For two main reasons. For one thing, when we think WCW, and we think of one of the mainstay rivalries, one of the top rivalries in the annals of professional wrestling history, especially when it pertains to the history of the NWA and WCW. One of the greatest rivalries to ever spawn from that company is Ric Flair and Sting. And it was something, and I'm glad they even brought this up during the actual segment with Triple H and Ric Flair out there. Because I even brought it up to my brothers before they even said anything about this on the actual segment. Is the fact that one of my personal favorite matches from Ric Flair and Sting of all time was their first encounter for the NWA's World Heavyweight Championship back in 1988 at Clash of the Champions, which was really one of their first encounters. And how amazing that match was. And back then, you didn't need all the glitz and the glamour and the pyro and the lighting to make wrestling entertaining. And they proved that. But to include Ric Flair in this storyline between Triple H and Sting, I thought was a brilliant move. It really helped further the storyline of not just Triple H, but Sting as well. So I'm really looking forward to what they do at WWE Fastlane between these two guys. I really am. I'm definitely going to look forward to that. Now, something that was very interesting to me, we've been wondering a long time, when would Darren Young return to WWE? The first openly gay superstar. And now, are you going to start gay bashing? No, I'm not going to start gay bashing on him now. I mean, to me, a person's sexual orientation has nothing to do with what kind of a person they are. They really don't. I don't think a person should be judged for that. But anyway, he would get an intro. His partner wouldn't, because as soon as they attempted to announce who his partner was, boom, the Ascension's music would hit. And the Ascension would start attacking both the Darren Young and his unnamed partner. And then something I found extremely intriguing is the person who made the save for Darren Young. It was Titus O'Neil. Could this be, guys? And I hope it is, because I thought it was a good gimmick, a good storyline. The rebirth of the primetime players. Are the primetime players back? You know, are we going to go back to the millions and millions of dollars, which was an actual gimmick that was working for them? Because what has Titus done as a heel? He's teamed up with a jobber in a tag team called Slater Gator. Really, really not much to me. But I really want to see the primetime players back. I really want to see them back. You know, we need more good tag teams. And the primetime players were a good tag team. They were a good tag team, and they were entertaining. Two of the reasons why I enjoyed them. Damien Mizdow and Bad News Bear. Basically what this one is, it was the Miz just wanting to take Damien Mizdow down a peg or two. You know, and anytime that Mizdow would gain an advantage in the matchup, Miz would make him stop. Miz would make him stop, and it would come down to the point where Mizdow was about to hit the skull-crushing finale. I'm watching my kid brothers playing, and it's just extraordinary how they're playing Lego Star Wars right now. They're really good, guys. You know, one of these days I might actually have them record their gameplay while I commentate for you guys. But anyway, when it pertains to Mizdow, like I said, it was just Miz stopping Mizdow before he could hit the skull crushing finale. He would let Bad News Barrett hit the bullhammer elbow. Barrett would pick up the win, and then Dean Ambrose, as one of y'all needs to hit the white button on your controller. Either that or go down. There you go. Dean Ambrose came out, attacked him, and then he would tie up his hands around the ring and kind of put a pen in his hand and kind of forcibly sign a contract for Fastlane to defend the Intercontinental Championship. And WWE.com has actually announced that there will be a championship match at Fastlane between Dean Ambrose and Bad News Barrett. Would it be pretty cool to see Dean Ambrose as Intercontinental Champion? I think so. So, up next, the Jimmy Uso and Naomi, Tyson Kidd and Natalya. Basically, your brother fell down. They basically had Natalya work about 90% of this match. Kidd just kind of did the cowardly heel thing by staying on the ring apron, not wanting to miss. with Jimmy Uso. And the finish of the match, it was Naomi countering a jackknife pin into a sunset flip pin and getting the win. And then they just had Tyson Kidd just kind of look disappointingly at his wife. And again, to this day, I'm just really confused as to what they're doing with Tyson Kidd and Natalya. I really don't know, but you know, I guess it's probably to put over the fact that he's a heel, possibly. I don't know. Main event on Monday Night Raw this week: Daniel Bryan and the Big Show. Roman Reigns would be out there, but instead of being on commentary, he was out and about in the ringside area, taking selfies with fans, throwing out free merch. Yeah, that's just like WWE. At an event that I'm not at excuse me, at an event that I'm not able to go to, they hand out free merch. That's just like WWE. I'm just nitpicking here, guys. I am just nitpicking. Basically, Roman Reigns are trying to just be like a distraction. At one point on the match on the outside, Big Show kind of throws Daniel Bryan into Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan kind of stared at each other. And then Bryan would step out of the way while Big Show attempted to spear and ended up spearing Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns would respond. You know, Daniel Bryan was about to put Big Show away off the top rope. And then Roman Reigns would come in, hit the Superman punch on Big Show, causing a disqualification. And which would lead to a huge brawl between Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan to cap off the go-home show. And I gotta say, interesting way to end the show. And a nice way to do like the big final build for Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. I'm really looking forward to what they do with them at Fastlane, especially with it being just this Sunday. Overall score on Monday Night Raw this week, it's going to be a 3.5 out of 5. I think even if Lance would hear, he'd be saying the same thing. There were two best segments of the night. One, seeing Paige on a towel. Two, seeing Paige wrestle in the fairy outfit. Like I said, Paige can make anything look hot. Definitely. Paige can make anything look hot. And I got to go funny segment of the night to Dean Ambrose, the backstage news segment. But best match of the night, I'm going to go to Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. I thought it was a great match, and I'm really going to look forward to what they do with these two guys on Thursday Night SmackDown, especially with J&J Security being barred from ringside. Worst match of the night. I don't really want to say Darren Young and the Unnamed Partner and the Ascension, because we kind of figured that, you know, with its partner going unnamed, that they were going to do something. I didn't expect them to, you know, bring back the primetime players and Titus O'Neil, as I was trying to think of what to say, and me being a commentator, I should have already been prepared. But I really can't think of anything else. I really don't want to say Paige and Summer Rae, because it wasn't that bad of a match because of Paige in the fairy outfit. But there's really nothing that really stunk on ice on this week's Monday Night Raw, which was really surprised. But you know what? I'll probably go. I'm probably go Uso, Naomi, and Tyson Kidd and Natalya, you know, just to have something there. Because that was possibly the least entertaining. Now, I'm not saying it was bad, but I'm saying like a good deal on Monday Night Raw was a bit better than what they did on that match. But anyway, guys and gals, what I want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week? definitely want to hear what you guys have to say out there. Be sure you put your comments in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Don't forget to follow me on the Facebook page, facebook.com/WGS-TV. And don't forget to please subscribe if you haven't yet to youtube.com/WrestleGamer. So, with that being said, I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Willie Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching. It's not the way. See, oh shoot! Oh shoot! Oh shoot!